Day here in Kansas City. I woke up a little stiff, so I'm kind of craving some heat building and some hip opening. Yeah, that sounds really good to me. So that's what we're going to be doing and working on today. As always, follow what feels best in your body. We'll be starting with some breath work and some pratyahara, some sense withdrawal, or another way of thinking of that. Sometimes I take things very literally. Another way of thinking of pratyahara, or the sense withdrawal, is kind of just bridging or linking that kind of transition from external to internal. So it's that process of just going inward and being present. So we'll start with some of that, especially if you're just kind of getting up or if you haven't moved much today. Haven't had a chance to really be in your body yet. We'll do some nice prep to get you there. And I'll provide modifications as always. If you have yoga blocks, those will be very helpful. I use them all the time. So you'll see me demonstrating and just practicing with blocks. But if you don't have them, that's okay. If you would like to use blocks and you don't have them, maybe you find a couple books or some VHS tapes. What else? Blankets are great. If you have a bolster or pillow, that's awesome too. And I think that sums it up. We can go ahead and get started. Let me just gather a few things. Okay. So you're still kind of settling in, finding your props, getting your things. Take all the time you need to do that. This will be available after the class indefinitely, so you'll be able to practice this multiple times if you want, or you can start and stop it if you want to practice at a later time. So once you've gathered all of your things, you can begin to find your comfortable seated posture. So my favorite setup, I'll kind of show you, is a bolster and then a blanket right in front, a folded blanket. I like to have my hips elevated, so maybe a blanket under the hips is enough elevation for you. Maybe a block under your seat is a good kind of elevation for you. I really like the bolster. And then a little padding underneath my ankle bones feels nice, and that's why I put the blanket down. Another nice use of props here in a seated posture, if you have blocks, is you can always tuck them right underneath your knees, just for some added support. Especially if you feel like you're kind of straining in the interior hip area. It's nice to just take some of that downward kind of like pulling that gravity's naturally doing with your knees towards the ground into the seated posture. Having blocks there is just some extra stability for you. Hands can be palms facing down or palms facing up on the legs, or maybe you let them kind of hang down in that space between the legs that you've created. So you exhale, soften your shoulders. And as you breathe naturally here, you can maybe begin to soften your gaze slightly. Soften your jaw, your face. Thinking of your exhales as like a wash over your body, softening from the crown of the head. It's kind of melting over you all the way down to the feet. I like to think of that kind of like a school game of cracking an egg pretending to crack an egg on the top of your friend's head, and then with your fingers you kind of melt it down their skull and shoulders and arms. That's the visual, and that's the feeling that I'm kind of trying to wear in this very beginning stage of coming into my body this morning. As you're breathing naturally here, welcome any thoughts that enter the mind. Taking this as a chance to really check in and see how you're feeling. Notice the state of your mind. Maybe it's moving pretty slowly, or maybe you've got some monkey mind, the chitta vritti. It's the mind chatter, mind stuff. While you're breathing here, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land that I'm practicing on. I'm practicing on occupied Osage, Kansa, and Shawnee land. Sending deep reverence to all of those who were the original caretakers of this land, the original inhabitants of this land. If you're practicing somewhere else, I encourage you to take time to acknowledge the land you're practicing on. If you're unsure, maybe that becomes a task for after the class, finding out. If that fact that you don't know is uncomfortable to you or brings up some feelings, take time to honor that. Knowing that our yoga practice is not one of purely stepping away from life, from reality, from struggle. It's actually one of sitting in that struggle, sitting in that discomfort. We're not bypassing, we're being present. Present to ourselves, but present to other people also. As you're ready, you can begin to shift away from that check-in, from that kind of mental work, acknowledging, noticing, maybe even a little bit of analyzing if you're like me. Slowly see if you can shed those actions. Replacing them with your breath and nothing else. Honing in. Maybe even visualizing yourself walking across a bridge. One side is the external, the other side is the internal. We're slowly making our way across that bridge. Whenever you arrive there, begin to deepen your inhales, maybe growing a little taller through the spine, and as you exhale, maintain that length in your spine, that integrity of your core, keeping you upright, while finding that wash all over the body, releasing tension on the exhales. Inhaling, lifting through the crown, rooting down through the seat. Exhaling, softening head to toe. You can continue to work with intentionally deepening your inhales and exhales, stretching them out slightly, slowing them down. Or if you'd like to shift into a 3-part yogic breath for some more intentional breath pattern, maybe not more intentional, just maybe more guided breath work. Yeah, you can do that with me. Inhaling through the nose, watching the air travel up past third eye, down the back of the throat, and all the way down into the belly. Maybe bring your hands to your tummy, you feel that expansion. As you exhale, hug navel in towards spine and slightly up, getting all the way empty. Inhale through the nose, watch the breath enter, the air enter. Fill the belly. Exhale, release it all the way out. Once more like that. Inhale through the nose, send your breath down. Expand through the stomach. Exhale, hug belly in until you're all the way empty. Seeing if you can exhale through the nose, but it's okay if you exhale through the mouth. We'll add on part 2. Inhale through the nose, send your breath down into the belly. And this time, allow your breath to rise into the low ribs. Exhale, ribs contract, belly deflates. Twice more like that. Inhale, part 1 into the belly. Part 2 into the low ribs. Exhale, ribs soften, belly softens. Once more, inhale. Feel your breath lift into the mid-body, the low ribs. Exhale, ribs soften, belly hugs in, eliminating all the air. We'll add the third part. Inhale through the nose, send the breath into the belly. Just like before, allow it to ripple into the low ribs. And lastly, filling the lungs. So your chest will kind of lift, your heart will lift. Exhale, allow the chest to lower, ribs contract, belly hugs in, eliminating all the air. Continuing, inhale, belly, ribs, lungs. Exhale, lungs, ribs, belly. Inhale, bottom, middle, top. Exhale, top, middle, bottom. Continuing, maybe visualizing the chakras. Exhaling, heart, solar plexus, muladhara. Continue. After a few rounds, maybe you release the cues in your head, that 1, 2, 3, or top, middle, bottom. Seeing if this can become more intuitive. If your mind is scattered, maybe you continue with that resource of counting or visualizing. Allowing you to stay in your body as you breathe. Take about 5 more like this. As you're ready, you can begin to release the active pranayama or breath work. Staying in that space of pratyahara, drawing inward, carrying that sense with you throughout your practice, knowing that returning to your breath is the simplest way to find that internal presence in yourself, to shift back inward if you start to kind of dissociate or get distracted. Being kind to yourself throughout this practice, knowing that it's called a practice for a reason. Embracing what's challenging. Trying your very best. As you're ready, you can bring hands to touch at heart center. If you'd like to set an intention, you can do so now. You're always welcome to dedicate your practice to someone or something if that feels more relevant for you this morning. And I'll greet you with namaste, a common greeting, Sanskrit word that translates that I respect you very much. Namaste. Let's take a cleansing breath or two, inhaling through the nose. Exhale out an open mouth. Maybe you start to kind of blink the eyes open. Maybe you keep them closed. We're going to continue being seated for a little while. If you'd like, you can switch the cross of your legs. Add or take away any props you'd like. Kind of recalibrate. When you're ready, we'll begin to work with some vocalization. So sort of awakening Vishuddha, the throat chakra. I think it's common, but especially something that I am aware of in myself is my relationship with my voice, expressing myself. Sometimes I feel blocked there, I question, I doubt. So doing work to open the throat chakra can be really nice for that. Building confidence, finding your voice if you're working on anything like that. If you're wanting to just be expressive, if you're feeling you got some stuff kind of stuck you need to get out. Just a way to move your energy around. So a nice way I like to do that is by breaking down Om into 3 parts. A, O, and those 3 sounds. So A, O, M is how I like to think of that. And so we'll go through and take about 3 rounds, making each sound with our breath. So you can bring your hands by your sides. You can keep your hands on your legs or by your sides, or if you want to add in movement, you can lift your arms on your inhales, and as you exhale, lower the hands down. I like to have the palms facing up like I'm scooping up all the good. And exhaling, turning the palms to face down, clearing my field of all the negativity. This is kind of an arm workout if you do it for a while, so feel free to try it out. Maybe do it the whole time, maybe just for a little bit. So when you're ready, we'll inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, make the sound ah. Ah. Really draw it out, really be loud. Inhale. Maybe give yourself a little smile. Exhale, ah. One more like that. Inhale, lift. Big breath in. Exhale. Ah. Shifting into the O. Inhale. Really hug your belly in until you're all the way empty, pushing that little last bit of air out. You can always pause between these if you're getting lightheaded. One more. Inhale. And so your lips will be closed like you're humming. Inhale. Allow your arms to relax by your sides. Maybe your hands touch down on the earth. Like I said, that can sometimes make you feel a little lightheaded. Ground into your sits bones, to your feet, to anything that's touching the ground. Finding stability. Breathing naturally. And if you'd like, you can join me in a single chant of Om, bringing all three of those sounds together. Inhaling. Take a moment or two to notice how you're feeling. Maybe comparing these feelings to earlier in the day, earlier in the practice. And when you're ready, you can blink the eyes open if you haven't already. If you're on a bolster, you might want to come down to just a folded blanket. Scoop back, begin to find some movement in the body, some physical movement in the body. Now we've already been kind of moving our energy around quite a bit. Maybe swallow or take a drink of water, especially if you, know that the throat chakra is a space where you feel blocked sometimes or out of balance sometimes. Be extra nice to yourself. Maybe even give your shoulders a little rub or look up and down a few times, just really honoring that part of your body, the work we did there just now. And as you're ready, hands can come onto the tops of the legs. If you want to switch the cross of your legs again, you can. Just start to draw circles with the torso. So stirring the pot. Going the other way eventually. And you can always do things for more time. You can go longer. You can stop sooner. You can change directions without my cues. This is your practice. You're your own teacher. I'm just practicing alongside you. All right, so inhale through the center. Exhale, soften the face and shoulders. This time of year when it gets cold, it's just so reflexive to crunch up. So see if you can, throughout, often your day, your practice, just all the time. Try and build in that little cue of softening as you exhale. Start to move the spine in a different way now. So as you inhale, hands on the tops of legs, we'll puff the chest up, squeeze shoulder blades together, keep your chin tight, slightly tucked. As you exhale, round through the back. I like to kind of like cup the front of my knees and really peel my shoulder blades apart and tuck my chin to chest. So inhale, scoop the heart forward, squeeze shoulder blades. Exhale, round through the back. Tuck the chin if it feels okay on the neck. Continuing, inhale, scooping forward, seated cat-cow. Exhale, sit back. Let's do twice more like that. Next time you come forward, reach your arms behind you, palms facing one another. Kind of like airplane arms. If you want, you can explore lifting the chin slightly with control. And as you exhale, same motion as your cat-cows. This time finding your cat, rounding through the back, but giving yourself a big hug, tucking the chin. So inhale, unwind the arms, reach back, palms face one another, shoulder blades squeeze together, root down through your sits bones. Exhale, cross one arm on top of the other, round through the back, tuck the chin, maybe even bring your elbows towards your navel as you continue. So inhale, back, exhale, give yourself a hug, trying to switch which arm is on top each time. Let's do two more. Moving with your breath. Inhale to sit up. Exhale, let's shake the hands out. From here, you can roll the shoulders back one at a time and forward one at a time. Lift the shoulders up towards ears. Exhale and drop twice more. Beginning to feel the heat building in your body, even if it's subtle, even if you're sitting down, you can still build heat in your body. Okay, so from here, chin to chest. Inhale, roll, left ear to left shoulder. Lift the chin. Exhale, guide the chin back down towards the collarbone as you come through center, and the other way, rolling right ear to right shoulder. Do this just a couple more times, allowing it to be intuitive. Maybe you lift your chin, maybe you bring your teeth to touch, maybe you kind of play around, lifting and lowering the chin when your ear's at shoulder. Very mindfully rolling chin back through the center, across the sternum, going the other way. Maybe you stretch your arm, the opposite arm out. Just take maybe 3 more breaths on each side. Again, not really overthinking it, just noticing what feels good. I feel like just about everyone has some stiffness in their neck, so you'll be able to feel a good stretch. If you don't, just explore. Maybe you bring your chin to the shoulder. Okay. So you come back through the center, chin to chest. Inhale to lift up. Lift the chin all the way up, stretching the front of the throat. Exhale, chin to left shoulder. Again, if this doesn't feel good on your neck, you can skip it or modify, going back to something that felt good that you did before. Inhale, lift the chin up, stretch the front of the throat. Exhale, other way. Sometimes this makes me cough a lot. It's another kind of maybe hint that you could have some throat chakra imbalances. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bring your gaze back ahead. Awesome. From here, stretch both legs out long in front of you. You can continue to work with some elevation under the hips. Feet are about hip distance, maybe a little closer, maybe a little farther, whatever feels good with your body's anatomy. You're going to press into your heels To protect the knee joints, keep your feet nice and active, flexed here. If you know you're prone to hyperextending, I'd really recommend sliding a blanket underneath your knees, or if you have any kind of like pain behind the knees or strain, a blanket underneath the knees or even blocks are going to be really nice for maintaining that slight bend of your knees. So inhale here, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, fold until your body stops you. Holding here for 3 rounds of breath. Allow your head to relax, your face to relax, your shoulders are heavy. Big inhales into the low back. Exhaling, softening all over. On your next inhale, press into your hands, lift up halfway, flat back, almost like you're trying to drag yourself forward with your hands. Lift up through the crown of the head, allow your shoulders to relax down towards the ground, so away from your ears. Keep your chin tucked slightly. Exhale, fold until your body stops you. 5 more rounds of breath. Feet are flexed, heels are pressing down, you're rooting down through your sits bones, hands are on either side of the legs, supporting your body somehow. You could be on the legs too, whatever feels most comfortable. If you've got, if you feel like you could go deeper but your legs are just getting in the way, you can take a wider stance here, just make room for your body. On an inhale, lifting up halfway, flat back. As you exhale, walk the hands in toward you, lifting all the way up back into your seat. Now we're going to bring your right foot so it's at about a 45-degree angle, and bring the left foot on the inside of that right thigh. So sit up tall, root down through the sits bones, press down into your legs, into your heel especially. If you want to find support under the extended knee, go for it. We're going to inhale, bring hands to the back of the head. Exhale, relax the face and shoulders. Now inhale, face the extended leg. Exhale, the other way. Just a few times. Inhale, exhale. So twisting, inhale. Inhale right, exhale left. One more. Inhale, face the extended leg. Sit up really tall. As you exhale, fold over the extended leg again until your body stops you. Maybe your hands are framing the extended leg, or maybe you fold on the inside of it. It's really just whatever makes more sense for your body. Everybody's bones fit together slightly differently, you know, we're all unique, so something that feels good for me or works with my shape might not work for you, and that's totally fine. Again, trying to maintain that pratyahara, that inward focus. This practice is about you, not anyone else. Just like our forward fold, staff posture that we were doing just now. Uttanasana from a seated position. We're doing the same thing here, just kind of finding a twist with the spine, and we're getting a nice stretch for the side of the body too. I feel this a lot in my low back, but also it's a good stretch for the extended leg. Inhale to lift up halfway. I like to sometimes come onto tented fingers, or if you have blocks, that's nice too. Now your exhale, you could return to the fold if you want to continue stretching that way, or if you want to add in some dynamic movement, you can follow along for this next little flow. So we'll inhale, bringing right hand to right leg, left hand to the back of the head. So this is on your inhale. Just twist open, so away from the extended leg. And as you exhale, unwind, twisting back, so your torso is directly above the extended leg, and then folding, maybe tapping your elbow down onto the floor. Inhale to press into the shin with your hand, lift up, unwind, open. Exhale, twist back towards the extended leg, fold over it, maybe tap the elbow down. A few more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, unwind, fold. At any point, you can return to holding the fold. wanting to continue with the dynamic movement, exhaling, unwind, fold, and hold your fold for 3 more rounds of breath. Keeping the right foot flexed, the heel pressing down. So I've got a pretty big gap underneath my knee between the floor, and that's fine. Your next inhale will lift up halfway. And as you exhale, we're going to crawl your hands all the way over to the left. So all the way over to the point where your fingers are going to be facing the short edge of your mat. I'm kind of on tented fingers here. You're going to press your palms down, seal through the right foot, come onto the knee, the left knee, reach through the arm. Big full body stretch, pressing into the outer blade of the right foot, reaching through your fingers. Maybe you do some arm circles. Continuing to breathe. On an exhale, bring the right hand back down to the ground. Lower your seat back to the floor. Walk your hands back through the center. And as you exhale, stretch the left leg long, so coming into a straddle position. And exhale, fold over the legs, or fold through the center, between the legs. You could be, maybe your fold is a little more upright, maybe you have blocks under your hands or under forearms. Maybe your forearms reach the ground, maybe you want to crawl your hands out in front of you. Just like I've been saying for all these postures, really root down through your heels, flex the feet, don't hyperextend your knees. Inhale, half lift, flat back. And exhale, walk hands in towards you, bring the right foot on the inside of the left thigh. So just like before, left leg is at about a 45-degree angle, roughly. Bring hands to the back of the head. We'll do just a little bit of that warming up for the spine. Inhale, exhale. Inhale through the nose, exhale through an open mouth. Next exhale, you'll be looking at the extended leg. Pause. And inhale to prepare, grow tall. And on an exhale, you'll fold over the extended leg until your body stops you. So this side feels very different for me compared to the last side. Notice if it feels different for you too, or maybe it's very similar. Holding here for about 3 rounds of breath at first. Or 5, excuse me. 3 to 5. And if you'd like, we can switch to that flow or stay here. Either way, we'll inhale to lift halfway and exhale, deciding what you'd like to do. Either returning to your fold or positioning the left hand on the left shin. And as you inhale, bringing right hand to the back of the head, twisting open, away from the extended leg. Exhale, unwind. So you're facing the extended leg and fold, maybe tapping the elbow down. It's okay if the elbow doesn't get there. Inhale, open. Exhale, unwind, fold. 3 more like that. Once you're finished, we'll meet in our fold over the extended leg. Shavasana is the Sanskrit for this pose. Inhale to press into your hands, finding your flat back. As you exhale, crawl your hands through the center, then all the way over to the right. All of your fingers are going to be facing the short edge of your mat now. It's almost like you're going to do a plank or a down dog or something. You're going to lift the hips, press into the left foot, pressing into the outer blade, And then on an inhale, reaching up. I like to be on tented fingers. You could find a block here. So pressing into your shin, into the knee, sending your hips forward. Kind of like the same sensation as Wild Thing. Maybe you add in some shoulder circles. On an exhale, bring the left hand back down to your mat. Sit back down. Left toes lift. We'll inhale, stretching both legs long again, finding your straddle, and exhale, folding down the center one more time. Holding for 3 rounds of breath. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, sit all the way up. From here, we're going to switch how we're sitting. So we will be sitting for a little while longer. We're going to find cheerleader legs, is what my teacher, Grace, calls this. So one shin is going to be parallel to one side of your mat, and the other will be parallel to the other side. So if you're facing forward, like facing the short edge of your mat, it'd be the front leg is parallel to the short edge, the other leg is parallel to the long edge. So there's like a side view for you. This is super, super uncomfortable. You can maybe just do more of like a side saddle version of this. So your legs are going to be more stacked. Or you could explore doing these things with crossed legs, how we've been before. So just try it out. If the back foot feels really uncomfortable pressing into the mat, maybe you slide a blanket underneath. If there's like, if you're lifted up really high and it's weird, you could always slide a blanket underneath you to like have extra support here or under your legs. So just play around. It's kind of an awkward way to sit if you've never done it before. All right, so once you've found this position, we're going to inhale, hands to the back of the head. Maybe you do a few more of those little side to sides. Maybe breathing normally or doing that more dynamic, kind of like pulsing breath that's really common in like Kundalini practices. All right. And next time you're, so I'm starting with my right leg in front. So next time you're facing the right knee, you're going to lower the hands down. We'll inhale, lean back, so diagonal side bend. Exhale through center, lean forward. Inhale back, we'll do 3 in each direction. Exhale forward, kind of like springing with your hand, but you have a lot of control here. So you're moving slowly, like you're moving through molasses. Next time you're leaning back, we'll inhale to open through the wingspan, bring your left hand like behind your shoulder almost. As you exhale, we're going to dive the left hand underneath the right, any amount. So like threading the needle. Inhale to open. Exhale, twist, sending your left hand kind of underneath the right, any amount. One more, inhale, open. Exhale, twist. Maybe you stay here in this twist for 3 rounds of breath, or maybe you lower onto your shoulder and left ear all the way to the ground. So you're like a little pretzel on the ground. 3 rounds of breath. On an inhale, press into the right hand, lift yourself up, reach all the way up and back. As you exhale, see if you can use your core to bring you back through the center. Awesome. Hands to the back of the head. Inhale here. Exhale, bring your left elbow towards the left foot. Inhale, center. Exhale, right elbow towards the mat, any amount. This side's really hard for me. Do that twice more, each side. Really root down through your feet. Feet are glued to the mat. All your legs, everything that's touching down is glued to your mat. This is really good for building stability in your core, the muscles that keep you that catch you from falling. Okay, now, this is kind of hard. If you want to shake out your arms, you can. This is hard for me anyway. So inhale, bringing hands to the back of the head again. Press into your back foot. As you inhale, maybe you try and lift the front leg off the ground. It's okay if it doesn't lift at all. It's just that action of trying to pull your leg off the ground. Exhale, press the front leg down and fold, hinging at the hips so your back is flat. So it might be a slight fold. Inhale, lift up. Maybe the front leg lifts too. You're pressing down through the back leg to keep you stable. You're using your core to keep you stable. Exhale, press down through the shin or through the front leg. Fold with your flat back. One more like that. Make sure you're breathing here. Exhale, press down through the front leg. Fold, keeping your spine long. Inhale, lift up. Ooh, good job. Okay, extra challenge. Try and switch the cross of your feet without dropping your hands down. You can always lower your hands. It's fine. Okay. Repositioning here. If you want to shake your hands out, maybe do some shoulder rolls. Look left and right. Up and down. Find your breath. Return to yourself. Notice if that was really challenging, what came up for you. And then once you arrive on this side with your legs, one leg parallel to one side of your mat, the other parallel to the other side, you'll sit up really tall. Notice how this side feels different than the other. Again, I've noticed big differences here for me. And when you're ready, hands to the back of the head. Maybe you do a couple little twisty motions. Eventually, stopping with your torso facing towards the left knee this time. Hands will lower down. We'll inhale, leaning onto the back hand as you reach overhead through the right hand. Exhale, kind of spring up, forward, reaching. So diagonal side bending. Inhale, lift. Reach. Exhale, lift. Reach. Once more each side. We'll end leaning back, reaching overhead through the right arm. We'll inhale to open through your wingspan. Spread your fingers wide. Bring your right hand like behind your shoulder. So you exhale, twist towards the back hand, diving the right arm anywhere kind of underneath the left. So in that little window between your left arm and your torso, that's where you're aiming. Inhale, open. Exhale, twist. You're welcome to follow your hand with your gaze, if that feels okay on the neck. After the third one, you'll either stay here in this twist, upright, or you can lower down onto your shoulder and kind of rest your cheek on your mat. See if you can soften through your whole body here in this weird kind of pretzel shape. A few more rounds of breath. When you're ready, pressing into the left hand, lifting up slowly and with control, unwinding, reaching. Then exhale, lift through the center, use your core to get there. Hands at the back of the head, we'll do our side bends. Inhale, grow tall, press down through your legs, through your feet. Exhale one way. Inhale, center. Exhale the other way. Trying to keep your torso as if you were like kind of scooching between two panes of glass. Very, like flat. So your elbows aren't facing forward, they're pointing away from each other. Whew. One more each side. This is making my back crack. Feels good. Okay. Inhale through center if you want to relax the arms before we do our last little strengthening with this position of our legs. Inhale, hands at the back of the head. See if you can lift the front leg off the mat any amount. Maybe you don't, no biggie. Exhale, press into the front leg, press into the back leg, hinge at the hips, flat back, lean forward. If you get wobbly, that means you're going a little too far. You want to maintain stability throughout this little flow. Inhale, lift up. Maybe the front leg lifts. Exhale, press down through all of the points of contact you're making with the earth. Fold forward, hinging at the hips, flat back. Last one, inhale. And exhale. inhale, lift up. As you exhale, bring your legs to the front. From here, we're going to make our way. Oh, actually, I was going to have us do a little bit of Kapalabhati. We've already done quite a bit of core work, but I'll just do, we can do like maybe one round of 27. So if you've never done Kapalabhati, it's a kind of pranayama or breath work that is like really cleansing for your body. So if you like, have sinus buildup or like mucus buildup, this is really good for that. It also kind of just like clears things out. It kind of gets your digestive system going too. So if you ate like semi-recently, maybe you skip this part right now. It's also very energizing. So this is a nice thing to do in the mornings if you're feeling kind of like lethargic. So you can sit any way you want. And the idea with this breath is it's kind of intense. You're breathing out through the nose and breathing in through the nose, but it's like a sharp inhale and exhale. So how you do this is you kind of pump your stomach. So I like to have my hand on my belly. So as I'm exhaling, so just try that a few times. Just maybe take a big inhale in between if you're doing this for the first time. So you're hugging your belly in as you're pressing the air from your nose out. So you're not really actively inhaling at all. We're not doing that at all. We're just actively breathing out, and then your inhale sort of automatically happens because of this just because of this pattern. It's just like a natural thing. It's kind of cool. It almost feels for me like I'm like becoming kind of like a machine. It's that automatic. So maybe you're just trying this out, doing those like. That's what it would be like slowly. If you want to do it quicker, it'll be more like. So you're really using your abdominal muscles. You're like flexing as you're breathing out. It's like you're pushing the air out using your abs. You don't have to have your hands on your stomach. It's just a nice reminder for me. Hands can be anywhere. You can have your eyes closed. Sometimes in Kundalini, you'll see people taking different mudras with the hands. So those are all things to look into if you are really interested in this kind of breath work. We'll do, let's do 27, like I said. I think I said that. So whenever you're ready, you can always skip this too. Whenever you're ready, we'll inhale, do a cleansing breath. Exhale out an open mouth. Swallow, relax the throat. Inhale to prepare, and exhale, begin. Inhale. Exhale out an open mouth. Notice how you feel. Kapala translates in Sanskrit to skull, and Bhakti is shining. So it's like this skull shining that you're left with. It's a really nice visual, kind of enlivened sense of being, a lightness, a brightness, clearing. You're welcome to do more rounds of that. Or if you're ready to continue our asana or postural practice, you can slowly make your way onto your back. Maybe you do that very gently. If you're really wanting some more heat building, you can always get there through boat pose, kind of kicking your legs long, keeping your legs and back really long and flat, lowering slowly. However you get there, arrive and kind of survey this new position to the earth. Maybe you kind of separate the flesh out from underneath you, get your butt out of the way if you have one. Walk your feet in towards your body, taking them as wide as your mat. I like to kind of tuck my tailbone so my back feels nice and flat here. Arms can be stretched out beside you. Just windshield wipe the knees a few times. Coming through the center, we'll inhale, reaching arms in line with ears, so reaching up overhead behind you. As you exhale, bring your knees in towards your armpits and reach your arms through your legs, flexing at the wrists. Inhale back. So you're making Bakasana or crow pose with this crunch. So you're crunching, but your knees are wide, so you're aiming, I think I said armpits, but it's really like outside of your shoulders. Flexing your wrists, pressing into your hands. You can bring your heels towards your thighs, point the toes if you want. Inhale, lower the feet down, reach back. Exhale, crunch, press down through the low back, reach through your arms like you're pressing into a wall, an imaginary wall that's in front of you. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, crunch. We'll do one more. Squeeze everything in when you crunch. Inhale, relax. Exhale, last one, and we're going to hold here, so maintain your steady breath. We're not holding our breath. Use your core, stretch through your arms, press into your hands. Exhale, release. Good job. Maybe you windshield wipe the legs again. Eventually, we'll bring both knees into chest, rock left and right, draw circles with your knees, give your back some love. Maybe take a moment to be grateful for your body. Grateful for your breath, for the space that you're practicing in for this day. And when you're ready, if it feels good, you can rock forward and back along the spine. If that doesn't feel good, you can always roll off to one side, press yourself up. We're all going to meet in a tabletop position. If you have a blanket, I'd toss it under your knees. Stacking shoulders over wrist creases, hips over knees, pressing into the tops of your feet. Inhale for your cow pose, dipping the belly down, sending the heart forward. Exhale, waving the spine back for cat. 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you decide to take a more intuitive approach to cat-cow, snaking the spine or making circles with your hips, scooping and rounding through the chest. Eventually finding your tabletop again. You're going to tuck all of your toes and walk your hands in towards you. So you're in a little squat with your toes tucked. If this feels terrible on your feet, don't do it. You can just untuck them. If sitting like this isn't comfortable, you can sit cross-legged too or slide a block underneath. If you want to get that toe stretch, we'll tuck all the toes under and we'll sit up for this quick demo I'm going to show you. Reach your arms out in front of you. So you inhale, press into your hands so your shoulder blades are peeling apart. So you exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Inhale, press. Exhale, squeeze. So, serratus push-ups. Sometimes people confuse this with cat-cow, but it's different. So practice this a few times. Inhaling, peeling shoulder blades apart. Exhaling, squeezing shoulder blades together. All right, we're going to come back down to the mat, finding your tabletop, untuck the toes, maybe you give them a little tap. Setting up in your nice, stable alignment here, whatever that looks like for you, pressing into your hands, spreading your fingers wide. So just like how I demoed and we practiced when we were kneeling just now, you'll inhale, squeezing shoulder blades together. Exhale, press into your hands. So you're not like undulating or waving your spine at all, like in cat-cow, or you're really just going up and down. So inhale, squeeze shoulder blades together. Exhale, peel them apart. Let's do 3 more. Next time shoulder blades are peeled apart, tuck your toes again. Inhale, hover your knees off your mat. As you exhale, find Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. So lift your hips up and back, lengthen through the legs. Check in with your shoulders. Make sure you're rolling them away from your ears. So it's like you're spinning your biceps in towards your face, or trying to spin the elbow creases towards the ceiling. Keeping a nice bend in your knees if you'd like. Maybe you pedal it out a little bit here at first. Finding stillness. Inhale here, exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, lengthen through both legs. Exhale, or actually let's inhale to bend the knees. Exhale, lengthen through the legs. Yeah, that feels better. Inhale, exhale. Let's do just one or two more. Inhale, bend both knees. Exhale, lengthen. Still pressing into your hands. We're going to inhale, lift onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower the heels down towards the mat. It's okay if they don't touch. Mine don't touch either. Inhale, lift onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, lower. A few more like that. Just stretching the backs of the legs a little more. Slowly making our way upright. Settling in your downward facing dog. Inhale here. As you exhale, travel to the top of your mat, finding a forward fold, Uttanasana. Allowing your upper body to really cascade over the lower half. Shoulders and face are soft. Maybe you nod the head, yes. Maybe you shake it, no. Maybe you rock left to right. Maybe you take opposite elbows. Do what feels good. Have fun. Shift your weight. Explore. On an inhale, we'll lift up halfway, bringing hands to shins, drawing shoulders away from ears, reaching crown of the head forward and tailbone back. So very flat back. Exhale, fold. We'll inhale to our flat back again. Press into your feet, reach arms beside you, reach all the way up. Still in that same inhale. Exhale, hands at heart. Going to go through a few sun salutations and then get to an arm balance, an optional arm balance if you'd like at the end. So standing at the top of your mat, check in with your feet. Maybe they're about hip distance. Lift all your toes, spread them, set them down. Try and see if you can lift all of your toes except for the big toes. Set them down. Lift just the big toes. Set them down. Check in to see that you're not locking the knees. Tuck your tailbone slightly forward. I love doing self-adjustments here. So, yeah, another way to be in your body. Touch your body. Feel what your body feels like. Okay, when you're ready, we'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive down, clearing your field. Inhale, lifting halfway. Hands can be on shins, blocks, or the floor. Exhale, both hands plant down. Step back with your left foot, then your right for a high plank pose. Shoulders are broad, just like the top of our serratus push-up. Exhale, lower knees, untuck toes, bend the elbows, and lower all the way down. Keeping elbows hugging in towards your ribs. We'll inhale to scoop the heart forward, Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes, lift up to a kneeling or a full plank. Exhale, down dog. We'll inhale to lift the left leg. Exhale, step it forward. And then bring the right leg forward to meet it. Maybe it takes a couple steps to get there. It's fine. We'll all meet in our forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, half fold, flat back. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, press into your feet, reverse your swan dive, lift all the way up. Squeeze inner thighs towards one another while pressing your feet into the mat like you're trying to rip it in half, left to right. Hands come to heart, breathe. We'll do that again whenever you're ready. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Hands find the mat. Step back with your right foot this time, then your left. Plank pose. Inhale here. Exhale, lower knees, untuck toes, lower all the way down. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, push up, kneeling or not. Exhale, down dog. 3 breaths here. Check in with your shoulders. They're not squeezing towards your ears. You're not crunching your upper back. You're rounding the shoulders away from the ears. Back is broad. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, step forward. Left foot meets right. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet. Lift all the way up. Maybe you add a tiny back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. Breathe. Check in. We'll continue. If you have a blanket close by, you might want it for our low lunges. You can always set it up now. We'll inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Hands find the mat. Step back with the left foot. Keep the knee lifted at first, then exhale, lower knee down. Untuck the back toes. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. Send the hips forward, reach back. Inhale, reach through the fingers. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. Big step back to down dog. Inhale, lift the left foot up. Exhale, knee towards nose. Big step forward. Bringing your left foot on the inside of the left hand. Lower the back knee. Maybe you're working with blocks under your hands. Mine are far away. I wish I had them. Tented fingers is good too. Untuck the toes. Inhale, send hips forward. Reach up. Exhale, hands come down. Back toes tuck. Knee lifts. Big step forward. Inhaling directly into your half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press into your feet, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands at heart. I'm getting my blocks. And we'll do that again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Hands find the mat. Step back with the right foot this time. Back knee lowers. Untuck the toes. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Send hips forward. Reach back. Press into the top of the back foot. Squeeze inner thighs towards one another. Gauge your glutes and your core. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down. Tuck the toes. Step back directly to down dog. Inhale, lifting right foot. Exhale, big step forward. Right foot on the inside of the right hand. Lower the back knee. Untuck the toes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink in. Send your hips forward. On an exhale, bring hands back down to the mat or blocks. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee. Big step forward. Inhaling into your half lift. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. I'm going to go through just 2 more variations. These will be a little slower, or we'll be able to hold a little longer. So maybe you take a few cleansing breaths, maybe you shake it out. Maybe you decide to skip these ones. You're always welcome to take a child's pose or work on whatever you'd like. We'll inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step back with the left foot. Lower the back knee down, untuck the toes. Begin to heel toe your right foot so it's kind of right at the edge of your mat. So both hands are now on the inside of your mat for lizard pose. Always forget the Sanskrit for lizard. I really should figure that out today. So I love using blocks here. It's nice to kind of start upright. Maybe you stay here, sending your hips forward, and or down, I guess, towards your mat is a better way of saying that. Check in to see that your foot's in line with the knee. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you lower onto forearms. Maybe you take a variation of lizard that, just any variation you'd like. That could be rolling onto the outer blade of the right leg, maybe pressing into the inner thigh. You can always lift the back leg, staying here. Maybe you reach for it, maybe you look over your shoulder. Any of these options are great. 3 more rounds of breath. Inhale to come out of any variations you're maybe working with. And then heel toe the foot back into its own like lane. So on the inside of the right hand, tuck the back toes, lift the knee, big step back, down dog. Bend the knee, bring your heel towards your seat, open through the hips. Keep your shoulders as square to the mat as possible. Maybe you roll the ankle out here, maybe you do some hip circles. If you want, you can flip your dog, but you don't have to. Lowering your foot, coming out of whatever you're working on, the way you entered, mindfully. We'll inhale to lift the left foot. Exhale, hug the knee towards the nose, big step forward. Bringing your left foot on the inside of the left hand at first, lower the back knee, untuck toes, and then heel toe your left foot, so now it's wide, bringing both hands on the inside of your leg, or your foot. Maybe you stay just like this in your lizard pose, pressing into the top of the back foot. Check in to see that your back foot is in line with the knee and hip. Maybe you're working on like fists here, if your wrists are getting a little tired. If you haven't begun to work with Ujjayi pranayama naturally, that's kind of just a natural thing that happens when you're heat building, you're working with a little more energetic of a practice, you can intentionally start to incorporate that. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose, but constricting the back of the throat. Take any variation of lizard you like. Three more rounds of breath wherever you're working. When you're ready, you'll inhale, begin to heel toe your left foot back on the inside of the left hand. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, big step back. Three-legged dog, lift your left leg up in the air, bend the knee, open through the hips. Maybe you stay here, you can roll the ankle. Do your hip circles if it feels good. I'm not gonna flip on this side. I'm afraid I'm gonna like knock a plant over. And whenever you're ready, come out of the pose, bring your foot back down. We'll inhale to wave forward, finding a plank pose. Exhale, if you'd like to take chaturanga, you can, or continue working with knees down, lie down, cobra. Working with chaturanga, come forward on the toes. Exhale, bend the elbows. It's like top of a push-up, or half push-up actually. Come onto the tops of the feet, press into your arms. So removing the bend in the elbows, finding upward facing dog. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, either pushing yourself back up from a push-up if you're doing the Cobra variation, or flipping the feet, returning to downward facing dog from your up dog. 3 rounds of breath here. You can begin to take your feet wide as the mat. On an exhale, walk your hands in towards, or back towards your feet. So we're coming towards the back of the mat now. So for a wide leg forward fold, knees can be bent generously here. If you have a blanket, I think this is a really great option to bring underneath your heels, because we're going to work our way into malasana squat. So if you know that your heels are always lifting off the ground in your squat, blanket underneath is going to be such a nice way to support your body. It gets like comfy when you do that, even though it's challenging. So we're in our forward fold with legs wide. We'll inhale, lifting halfway. Maybe you slide a blanket under the heels, maybe not. On your exhale, begin to bend your knees. Bring your seat down towards your mat. Another way to make this pose like extra comfy is to bring a block underneath your seat. So that way you can really sit upright. Here, and I'll show you from another angle. So if you've got a block underneath, oh, this is so great. You can really work on doing the hip opening aspect. So like maybe if you're working with stability of the blanket and the block, you can press your inner thighs towards your elbows, elbows towards thighs, that like two-way push. If you're working without, it's fine. Maybe you just sink a little deeper into the hips. Maybe you are working here with your malasana squat. At any point you need to take a break, just lift your hips, return to that wide leg forward fold. You can even widen it more. If you would like to explore Bakasana, crow pose, this arm balance, you're welcome to. I like getting into it from malasana squat personally. So I'm going to go back to the side angle to show you your options. Having a pillow or bolster or block in front of you is great. If this is new to you and you're not feeling super stable, it's a little crash pad. So you're in your malasana squat. Reach your arms out just like those crunches we were doing earlier to prepare for this. Flex the hands, bring them to your mat. So your knees are on the outside of your, they're like at your triceps. Yeah, that's where you're aiming. So you'll inhale to lift your seat. Bring your knees right on that like tricep spot. Some people tuck them into their armpits. Whatever is going to feel most stable for you. You have to lean forward, sending your weight into the arms. If you have a pillow or a block, you can really lean your head down and explore kind of getting over that fear of being upside down. So having a bolster or block is so awesome for that. You could always do it without. Maybe you're just leaning forward and you're trying to lift one foot at a time. Just getting comfortable with this. Maybe you are at a place in your practice where you can comfortably hold Bakasana. Tucking feet in, rounding through the back, hugging your belly in. All right, you can take one more try if you'd like, whatever variation you're working with. If you're ready to be done, like me, you can stretch your legs long, kind of tap out the legs, give the hips a little love. Okay, shake the hands out. Take about 3 rounds of breath whenever you're finished. Again, checking in, seeing if you can slow down your heart rate. Letting go of whatever just happened with that malasana squat or bakasana arm balance. Like, you can take a wide leg child's pose here, or if your hips are just feeling like they've gotten a lot of work and you're wanting something maybe a little gentler, you can bring your knees together and bring your head down. If your head doesn't reach the ground, you could always bring a blanket or a block underneath. Allowing yourself to really cool down. At least 3 more breaths here. Whenever you're ready, press yourself up, cross the legs, bring your legs out in front of you, lower onto your back. Have anything you might want for Shavasana close by. Roll onto your back. Maybe you take those windshield wiper movements with your knees again. If you're like just so ready for Shavasana, you can go there right now. If you want to get a little more cool down postures in, you can always take a twist here. Maybe a figure 4 stretch. I'm going to do that one. So crossing my right ankle over my left thigh, lifting the left foot off the mat, threading my hands through my legs, pressing my low back down, just stretching the back of the right thigh and the glute, relaxing shoulders down. Eventually you can switch sides. Maybe you're working with a twist. Maybe you're doing this figure 4 stretch like me. Maybe you're doing something totally different. Eventually, taking any last movements, maybe rocking the head left and right, massaging the skull. You're welcome to cover up with a blanket. If you've got a chair or a couch close by, you can always rest the calves on a structure like that. You can even build one using blocks and a bolster. Maybe you bring feet together, knees wide, Supta Bakasana. Or maybe your feet are on the ground, planted wide with knees lowering in towards one another, kind of the opposite of that. Legs can stretch long. Maybe you take a seated meditation in place of Shavasana. Got lots of options. This is the time of our practice when we work on absorption. Returning to your breath, being in your body, actively resting. Might sound like a contradiction, but for me anyway, sometimes relaxing is the most challenging part of a yoga practice. If you're feeling like you've still got quite a bit of energy or distractions, return to your breath. Maybe you work with that 3-part yogic breath from the beginning. Maybe you take a moment for gratitude. But eventually seeing if you can release those tools. Seeing if you can truly do nothing. Surrendering to being. You're welcome to extend your Shavasana for longer. If you're ready to awaken, you can begin to do so. Deepening your breathing. Inviting awareness and sensation back into your body with each round of breath you take. Maybe making small movements with fingers, toes, eventually getting into wrists and ankles, maybe a full body stretch. Cleansing breath. Whatever's feeling good. Eventually, you can make your way back into any comfortable seated posture, maybe rolling off to one side and staying curled up for a little while before returning to an upright, comfortable seat. Whenever you do arrive, you can lower hands towards the floor. Thanking yourself for making time for your practice. Inhale, reaching arms overhead. Exhale, bringing hands to touch, lowering them to third eye, thanking all of your ancestors, all of the teachers, especially honoring the roots of this yoga practice dating back thousands of years to India and Egypt as well. On an exhale, whenever you're ready, bringing hands to heart center. Thank you so much for allowing me to practice alongside you today. May there be peace in your mind, peace in your body, and peace in your heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you. This was a long practice today. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back next week. I'll be teaching in person at Inner Space again starting December 6th, Sunday, and Monday the 7th. There'll be distanced classes, masks are required. If you want information on that, DM me. And there will be pretty chill classes. So I'm kind of thinking that these Thursdays will be a little more energetic, just to kind of mix up my offerings. So feel free to message me if you have any questions. Pass this along if you know anyone who'd be interested in some free classes. If you'd like to make a donation, you can. I've got Venmo. Just DM me if you have questions about that. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.